Watching the highlights.
109th Indy 500 is going to be on Sunday. We are going to get on the plane on Wednesday and do shows Thursday and Friday. A bevy of special guests.
Yeah, it'll be great.
And this is going to be my first time in the city of Indianapolis.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, Brew's going to show, I mean, obviously.
Let me show you guys around.
Yeah.
I would love that.
Absolutely. I've never been to the
humps.
Combine, and I've never been to the Indy 500. That fella's having a good time.
That's going to be me out there.
With the tattoo.
Where's Wild?
with the big chest.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
I can't wait to go. It'll be great.
All right, that's his Sunday, May 25th, and we'll see you there next week. Right now, we're headed to the NFL. We're talking about Caleb Williams and his bid to bail on the Bears. Now, according to a new book by Seth Wickersham, Caleb's father had concerns that Caleb, quote, wouldn't have the organizational support to succeed and considered opting out of the draft entirely in order to stay away from Chicago. He's thinking about playing the UFL, which would have been great for us.
Would have been great for Fox.
A lot to unpack here, including Caleb wanting to go to the Vikings after being wooed. So those are the treetops. What was your reaction when you read this story from this upcoming book?
First of all, if he could have got to the Vikings, that would have been wonderful. Yeah, oh my is right. But look, I have no problem with his dad trying to work out some great situation for his son. I think going to the UFL, we wanted, with all due respect, it would have been great for Fox, but we want to see this dude in the NFL. And you just can't circumvent the draft but so much. Like eventually, even people talking about now quarterbacks or players are making so much money with the NIL. If you don't like the first team with the draft, you can stay and make money.
There's still timeline.
Right. Eventually, you're going to have to go to the NFL. So, but Archie Manning did it with Eli. Deion tried to do it. Your kid has to be a number one prospect. He just has to be phenomenal for you to be able to do it. So no problem there. But what I will say is, if you are that guy, then you will go to a bad franchise and turn them around. When Joe Burrow and everybody was saying, oh, he shouldn't go to the Bengals, I was like, no, if you're that guy, he's from Ohio too, but if you're that guy, you will go there and turn them around. How many Hall of Fame quarterbacks the Patriots got? One, Tom Brady. And he's not even in yet, but he'll be in. But you know what I'm saying? Like, they weren't a great franchise when he went there. He turned them around. Houston was an absolute mess when C.J. Stroud went there, and he has turned them around to some degree. So that being said, right now, I'm not looking funny or side-eyed at the Bears at all. You got what we think will be is an offensive genius now as the head coach. You've got a nice receiving room. You got a nice running back room. You improved your offensive line. Like, I'm looking at this now as fine that Caleb felt that way because he should have, to be honest. But now they've done stuff. So there's no excuses for you not to be great.
Oh, I totally agree with the second part. Like how much of, and this is the part you're going to have to read read the actual book to get the full details on, how much of Caleb and his father's Bears skepticism was about ghosts and about, the Jay Cutler and things dating back to post-Sid Luckman, and how much of it about was Matt Eberflus, Shane Waldron, and the current state of the team. Because I do not believe in the ghosts of it. Like the Bears, they're a tough-nosed city who cares about linebackers, and because of that, they'll never have a 4,000-yard passer. So I agree with you. He now is set up to succeed. The counterpoint I would have to some of the points you made is, 5 years in, should Joe Burrow have been like?
I was going to say.
I mean, 5 years in, 3 of the 5 years.
Really?
Well, here's why.
Just because he hasn't won he's got to a Super Bowl.
And he's missed the playoffs more times than he's been there.
Some of that's on him, though.
And he's got his knee blown out.
Rookie year.
And so I think that there is.
But he has turned them around. Whether they win a Super Bowl, he's turned them around.
He has turned them around. The question is, would he have had a better opening 5 years if he was in what I would call a more functional place? Here is my problems with not problems with the article, but problems with things Caleb or his dad did and things I support. I don't love that his dad just kept talking on the record to this guy. And listen, I shouldn't say this guy. Seth is a great reporter, but I'm saying when I saw the headline, I thought it was going to be according to sources, not here's a quote from Caleb's dad on the record. Caleb also said to Seth, confirming everything, where he's like, yeah, I wasn't ready to nuke the city. So that was, like, to me, somewhat foolish in that the guy is writing a book. You are now putting to your name, yeah, there was a time where I was like anywhere but Chicago. Like, so I think that was a mistake, and credit to Seth for, getting their trust and getting the access. What I love from it in Caleb seems like the guy had pretty awesome instincts. So with Kevin O'Connell, he's like, man, this guy's so good, he probably could win 14 games with Sam Darnold. And that
was not a quote.
That wasn't a quote. But my point is, like, he was right about Kevin O'Connell. His skepticism on Shane Waldron, if this is accurate, and again, I'm going to take it to be accurate, at times, Williams said he would watch film alone with no instruction or guidance from the coaches. Quote, no one tells me what to watch, Caleb told his dad. I just turn it on. So Caleb...
But doesn't that has to be in his own time, he also goes and watches films by himself. There's no question he's watching film with the coaches too,
I don't
know.
Somebody got to tell us that. If the coaches weren't watching film with him,
that's what, to me, it wasn't that no one's come over to my house. It's that maybe they were watching film with him some of the time. But my overarching point is, I know he's going to be painted as a diva, and he might be a diva. You know what I mean? Like, but
diva instinct.
Sure. But he was right to be skeptical of everything, and I don't think it was a lack of belief that I can be good enough to turn things around. I think it was a hesitation to throw away a year. Because if you look at the team and you're like, that coach and more importantly, that offensive coordinator are not going to be the guys I'm with long term, then you know what I mean? Then at some point we will be starting over, and I'd rather not go somewhere I'm going to be starting over.
I know you joked around about Sam Darnold, but I also had Sam Darnold written on my paper. My biggest takeaway. I wasn't
joking at all. That's fine.
My biggest takeaway was we view wide receivers as a dependent position, right? Yeah. You can't succeed unless your quarterback's good. I wonder if we should start viewing quarterbacks as a dependent position.
On the coach?
On the coach, on the GM, and on ownership. And as much as you talk about Patriots, just because it's my wheelhouse, the Patriots had a new owner in Robert Kraft, literally like a new stadium.
We didn't know at that point.
And Bill Belichick.
It was going to be great. And Belichick had been a bad coach.
No, but it was a changing of the guards. When we look at Jaden Day, it's like, the Commanders literally have a new team name, new coach, new ownership. Even CJ, new coach, same ownership. So I just wonder, and why I had Sam Darnold, did Sam Darnold get better, or was Sam Darnold just drafted by an organization that doesn't have a track record of developing quarterbacks? Did Geno Smith get better and learn more, or was he just drafted by the Jets? And if I'm Zach Wilson, I'm like, say more. Yeah. I'm listening. So that was my thing.
I think it's both, to be honest.
It's like, man, I can't succeed here, no matter how good I am.
And it's also, like, it's why they had to get Ben Johnson. Because if you're the Bears. Because now, I agree with Brew. As much as I believe in Caleb, I'm trying to think in my head, what was the scenario where Caleb is bad this year and I don't think it's an indictment on him? And I can't think of it because I do think that they upgraded the offensive line enough to where it should at least be fine. Yep. They obviously have good weapons, and I really think Ben Johnson is sharp.
But it's on the board that Ben Johnson
that's the thing. It would have to be he's a coordinator, not a head coach.
Yeah, that's definitely on the board.
So like Brandon Staley, when
Josh McDaniels a little bit.
But here's the thing on that. That might, and this is why I'm not really a quarterback wins guy, that might show up in game management, the team losing games they shouldn't. But even if he is just an offensive coordinator, it should still help Caleb's stats and how Caleb looks and you know what I mean? So I'm not saying there are plenty of scenarios where the Bears go 6-11 and I think Caleb had an awesome year. Like that can happen. There's not, I don't think, given the talent he has now in the head coach, there's scenarios where Caleb has 19 touchdowns, 14 picks, and I'm like, no, the guy's still going to be a superstar. I don't think
the completion percentage. Title pie coming up next. Throwing the ball into the stands.
Can we stay just a little bit longer?
Don't worry, we'll be back.
I can't believe they're leaving.